Something about this Kiely Rodni case is really bothering the crap out of me. I've got some questions, y'all. Let's go through it. I just watched an interview that the so-called best friend Sami Smith did on a channel called All American Dream Chaser with a guy named Tony Dodge. There's a lot of things I don't like about this girl, y'all, and I'm just gonna tell y'all straight up, I think she's lying. I think she is straight up lying, and there's so many cues. Besides the way that she words certain things, or the way that she backtracks and changes her answers on certain things, but it's the things that she says and what she backtracks on, and to be honest, her horrible way that she was a friend to this girl. If you really pay attention to what this girl is telling everyone happened that night, no one should ever want to be this girl's friend, ever. She needs to just live a completely lonely life. First off, we know that Kiely was with her friend Magdalene, I guess they call her Mags, for most of the day, made creme brulee together, and apparently they drove to the party together, but Mags only stayed for about 10 minutes before leaving with her boyfriend. It's also very strange to me that Mags is apparently one of the main organizers of the party, yet she didn't stay and attend the party that she helped put together. Kiely and Sami ended up basically together all night. They would separate from each other from time to time to talk to other people or to go do other things. It was a mix of minors and adults who have no business in the world partying together whatsoever. But Sami then says that like around 10:30ish, the party started getting overwhelming. But then she makes like this really offhand comment about how even though she felt like it was too many people and it was overwhelmed, she's not normally overwhelmed in situations like that. Actually, she's been underwhelmed. So what is that supposed to tell me? You have to have extremes at parties, high intensity everywhere for it to be a non-underwhelming experience. And this is such a serious situation that happened at this party. Just kind of threw me off. So then she starts talking about how they're walking around together, like I mentioned earlier, and they're basically sharing drinks. They're taking shots, a 16-year-old and an 18-year-old taking shots in the middle of the forest with a whole bunch of strangers. I can't even at 34 drink a shot. I have to have it like mixed in. I don't want to even taste or feel the burn or know nothing. And this 16-year-old is shooting shots in the middle of the woods, in the middle of the night. She makes it a point to say that they're sharing drinks, trading drinks, and there was also alcohol in Kiely's vehicle. Now, the 2013 silver Honda CR-V has not been found. She mentions how they go back and forth to the car a couple of times. She also mentions that at that same point, the same part of time where they were apparently at the car for Kiely to charge her phone in order for her to text her mom, there were other people in the car. Who? How many? And at first she mentions that they were just talking about random things, and then she backtracks. And she makes sure that she adds that they were talking about the fact that Kiely needed to text her mom. I found that was kind of weird. And here's where I go back to what I said earlier. So where'd that alcohol come from? Was it driven in with her in her vehicle? Was it purchased with Mags still with her that day? Who bought it for her? Did they take it from one of their parents' houses? Where did it come from? Where'd it come from? And this is where I really get like aggravated with this girl. And so she says that she notices that Kiely is too drunk for her to basically feel safe, Kiely being the one that drove her home, but not worried about Kylie's safety. And then she says that she figured that she was going to either stay there or find a ride home. The girl brought her own vehicle. Did you see a camping gear in her car to make you think she was just going to sleep on the ground? You say you went and found another ride home because you wanted to stay longer. After stating that you were overwhelmed by the amount of people at the party by 10:30, it is 12:36 whenever you state that you get a phone call from Kiely asking you if you need a ride home. And the crazy part about that, she states that she made a point to go and find Kiely and tell her she found a ride home and that she was leaving. Does that attest to how drunk or otherwise intoxicated that Kiely was? Or do we know for a fact that Sami said a damn thing to her at all? For all we really know, she didn't even tell Kiely she was leaving. She could have just been gone, because they were both apparently drunk, right? She was drinking the exact same amount of whatever and doing whatever that Kiely was doing, from the way that she says in this interview. So if they were about on the same level, then she was probably too drunk to say anything to anyone if she actually did leave. Because who'd she leave with? How'd she get there? Sami. Who was this person who she got this ride with, that she was on Highway 89 with when she got this call? Who can attest to Sami getting this call from Kiely? Hearing the words that were spoken. You can tell if someone called someone by phone records. But who was in that driver's seat listening to that phone call? It's just becoming more apparent that Sami is doing nothing but lying. Kiely's phone was pinged at the campground for the party, but the phone was dead around like 12:30 in the morning prior. Like, it stopped pinging at 12:30 is how I'm guessing they're figuring out this timing. And she's trying to tell people that she got a phone call from her at 12:36, which would have been a few minutes after the phone was dead. So how can you make a phone call or get a phone call from somebody with a dead phone? And why is the phone dead? Miss, we went back and forth to the car several times to not just drink, but to also charge Kiely's phone. What? So what about the cameras from Highway 89? Have those been pulled to prove that Sami was in a vehicle at 12:36 on the highway in the passenger seat? Because she sure made sure to mention passenger seat. So now she's claiming that she's the last person to have talked to Kiely, but that's a damn lie. She was in a vehicle, apparently, already away from the party at 12:36 when Kiely last called her. She was the last recorded phone call that Kiely made. She was not the last person that Kiely spoke to. She even states in this interview that she could tell that she was still at the party because she was hearing all these people still in the background. It wasn't like she was in a vehicle, it's like she was still surrounded by people at the party. So who knows how many people actually talked to Kiely after Sami left? I want to know how Sami got there, because she didn't get there with Kiely. Did she have her own vehicle? She is 18, so did she have her own car? Who did she ride to the party with? Now let's talk about other reasons why this girl just rubs me completely wrong. Is she not also the same one who told us that Kiely was wearing that black Lana Del Rey hoodie? Now, as of like either yesterday or today, it's gone from this black, eerie messaged Lana Del Rey hoodie to now this bright white, hot pink, bold lettered Odd Future hoodie. I'm sorry, but if you can't tell me the difference between a black hoodie and a white hoodie, then why are you the one in charge of everything? The police officers are literally letting this little 18-year-old person here run this whole thing. They're allowing her to hold meetings with only the kids, no media, which is fine, no parents. The parents are being told to drop their kids off. She's the one who's going to filter all the information and be the one that these kids tell things to. And then she's going to give her information that she's gathered to the police. These girls didn't even have each other on social media. She's saying that they were close, and they've gotten closer recently over the past less than a year, 6 months recently. So you don't follow your so-say close friend, but you follow her ex-boyfriend. Who are you again? Something else I find kind of weird is this bodysuit that Kiely was wearing. Like, I get, okay, California. They keep calling it a bodysuit, but what was it? Because then there's also people calling it like a tank top or a cami. No, it's not. It's a full body. You can see her hips in the photo here. If those are indeed the green dicky pants that you're claiming she was wearing, and everything else matches, including the belt. You can't tell with your 18-year-old going off to college self. That's just the hue from the photo. Those pants in the photo are green, if indeed she was wearing green pants. Or are you lying about that? Were they blue? I guess we really don't know. But she does mention that they went to go pop a squat in the woods a few times, and that's how she could confirm that it was like a bodysuit. But like I mentioned, For what? Was it a bathing suit? Had she gone swimming with maybe Mags earlier that day? Was she planning on swimming at this party? Because if you look at the map right here, now I don't know at this point exactly where the gathering was, but there's two very like wide open areas, and then you can see like the waterways like all around that area. And then when she is saying they went to go pop a squat in the woods, I'm guessing they were parking their cars in some of that flat area, maybe gathering in some of other parts of the flat area, and then would go into the treat area to pee. And that's how she knew that she had a bodysuit on instead of a shirt, which would make some sense. But the bodysuit thing is what's kind of throwing me off. Did she go swimming before? Was she planning on going swimming there? Why was she wearing it with jeans? It's strange clothing choice. I mean, and some people are making a big deal for no reason over the fact that this 18-year-old is apparently friends with a 16-year-old. Or she is a very intelligent 16-year-old child. She graduated with honors 2 years early from high school. This was also her graduation party. Now, a lot of people are like, why is there a graduation party at the end of summer, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's because this is whenever people go off to college. You've done your summer thing, and now y'all are all, school is starting. We know this. School, everyone's freaking timelines is flooded with people going to school for the first day. Everyone's kids. So, I mean, come on, common sense. So Mags and Kiely get there at 10 o'clock. By 10:30, according to Sami, it's already overcrowded and overwhelming. At this point, Mags has been gone for, what, a good 15 to 20 minutes, if she was really only there for about 10 minutes before leaving with her dude. Then Sami and Kiely ended up staying an additional 2 to 2.5 hours after the fact that it was overwhelming. I don't know, this is just a little weird. Ryan Upchurch is adamant that somebody knows something, which he's right, and he's throwing fits, which I get. He even ended up getting on Ick and Mel's show. I believe it was today, actually. Yeah, it was today, so it would have been Monday. And because there was a guy named Ronnie who decided to call in to Ick and Mel's show and give a bunch of bullcrap information that literally had nothing to do with anything, talking about how his cousins were there and they left around 10:30 and noticed that she was drunk. And basically he was like, I just wanted to call so that people knew what it was like out here, because I used to party out there back in 2012 and blah, 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 blah. He was basically some small town moron just trying to get his little 15 minutes of fame off of something that literally had nothing to do with him or his. Boo on you, Ronnie. Poo-poo. And Grizzly True Crime on YouTube is also telling us now that there's information stating that Kiely was going to be sending a text to her mother asking for an extended curfew because she couldn't find her friend. So that almost kind of solidifies what I said earlier about, did Sami even actually say anything to Kiely before she just took off? Because this is making it sound as if she was looking for Sami. And Sami, being unseen to her eyes, was the reason why she was going to be asking her mom for an extended curfew. Because she was more worried about finding her friend who needed a ride home than about getting in trouble with her mom. Sucks Sami couldn't be anything like her. There's also some speculation that maybe she wasn't even at the party. There's like surveillance footage of her in a small store at like 6 o'clock. Well, the party, apparently they didn't get to the party till 10 o'clock at night. That's like almost a 4-hour window of what were you doing in this little bitty podunk town for 4 hours. And no one's came forward and said anything. But it is a little strange. So that's why a lot of people are like wondering if she was even there, because we haven't seen any physical proof that she was even actually at the party. And then we find out that her going to the party wasn't even planned, that she apparently had plans with her mother for that night and decided last minute to ditch the plans with her mom and go to this party. So then it brings you to speculate what a lot of people are speculating again, of if she even was there. Did she even go to the party? Just because her phone pinged there doesn't mean anything. Is there any physical evidence that her vehicle was ever even there? I mean, something seriously could have happened in that window, and this is all being covered up by people that think they're smarter than you. I don't know, it's all speculation at this point, but I don't trust Sami. I think she's lying, and I think we have the proof that she's lying, and something's not right, and I think that she's hiding something, and she would only be this perfectly perfect if her life depended on it. And that's just my honest opinion. So, okay, this case is a disastrous mess. My heart and my thoughts go out to Kiely's parents and her actual friends, and I hope in one way or another that she gets home soon. Bye, y'all.